Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Kizer Original 2. This guy is in titanium and S45VN. But you can also get this knife in, I believe, aluminum and maybe a couple other materials and 14C28N for quite a bit less. I'll link everything down below in the description so that you guys can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to Kizer for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. Two things here. You might notice that I am a little bit quieter. Maybe I'm being a little careful with my voice. And that's because I'm ever so slightly under the weather. I have a little bit of a cough and it turns into a fit. And I've found that if I talk a little bit lighter and a little slower, and control my breathing, especially, I don't go into a coughing fit. So that's what I'm trying to avoid today. So sorry if it's a little bit intimate. Sorry if I get a little whispery. Sorry if I do that. Headphone users. Ooh, sorry about that. Also, it's going to sound like people are stomping around my house. It's because there are some gentlemen putting up our Christmas lights. And if you'd like some fun lore about me, I really do not like heights. I don't have a problem getting up there and doing it. I've done it in the past. There's one peak on our house that I particularly do not like, and I've just decided I don't want to do that anymore. So so I'm being a weenie, and I'm having some other people do that. So that's what those noises are, is people stomping around on my roof. But anyways, that was a weird intro to a knife review. This is a very inexpensive knife, so no surprise. It's a Kizer, right? Titanium S45VN. We have their clutch lock. This knife comes in at $150. Now, right off the bat, if you're familiar with Kizer, you're going to know that this is going to put it into a tier where the pricing. I mean, Kizer makes a good knife. They know how to make a good knife. They have some issues to work out with some of their tool steel heat treatment. And a few other things, but not just tool steel. Some of their steels have some heat treatment things to work out, but generally speaking, their quality is very, very good, and they typically price knives like this very well, and they did in this case. $150, even for Chinese knife companies, that's fairly difficult to compete with, right? There are some companies that are a little lower, but Kizer does a really good job in this territory, and the less expensive version comes in at $69 giggity, making it a budget knife, which I think the pricing there is also very good. So this is a good knife. It's going to get a positive review. I really enjoy it, but I still want to go over everything with you guys so that you can get the full review experience. I will link this down in the description. I don't know if I told you that there. I don't know why I'm bringing this back out, but the links are down there if you want to check this out. Let's go ahead and measure this knife, the Original 2. Overall length coming in at 7¼ inches. Blade length is 3¼ Cutting edge is about 3 1/16. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Any custom skills you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and Others. Up against the 8010 in my own Excalibur. This is a smaller knife. I wouldn't call it a small knife or a mini knife. It's just smaller than these larger 8.5-inch knives. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. Exactly the same overall size as the PM2, the Para 3, and it actually has more cutting edge. It's just a much slimmer and more compact profile, which is saying something because the Para 3 is already slim and compact. Let's finally put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca, which this guy is probably, as far as the size comparison knives go, for this channel, this is the most similar in profile, but it is still smaller. This operates on the Kizer clutch lock, which is good. Kizer does a good job with their Omega spring tension. It feels very solid. It doesn't feel floppy or loosey-goosey. And because of the tension, it also creates for a positive deployment experience, whether you're using the reverse flick method or the regular thumb flick, or you're just like wheeling it out. It just feels really good. The length of the handle allows me to brace properly on it while I am disengaging that lock bar there. So everything feels natural. Nothing feels like, ooh, I'm going to drop it or I'm going to poke myself or anything like that. No, it just feels really, really good. I think I remember the original, the Vanguard original. Either my memory is just me looking at it on Blade HQ, or perhaps I have a review on it. It's hard to remember when I looked, I've been saying for a long time, I have over 5,000 uploads. I have almost 6,000. I'm about to go over 6,000. 6,000 times I've turned this camera on and talked to you about knives. That is not an exaggeration. That's how many uploads are on this channel. That is crazy. Well, here we are, right? But my point is it's hard to remember everything I've reviewed. I mean, it's legitimately difficult. Action good is what I'm trying to say there. I'm getting back into being loud. Sorry, it's hard to tone down my natural personality because I want to talk fast and I want to talk loud. But I can feel my throat wants to light up. Anyways, carry profile, thickness up against the Para 3. It's about the same. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. For a lot of people, this is going to be a deciding factor. This is just a beautifully compact knife without making the mistake of being too thin in the profile. Some people like that. You get much more narrow. I don't mean thin this way. I mean like narrow like this way. Too much, and it's just like, it doesn't feel like something that I personally want to carry. I think this is that sweet spot. It's just really, really good. It's a very easy knife to carry. Even in titanium, like around the house in sweatpants. There's not a lot of titanium pocket knives that I love to carry around in sweatpants around the house because they just feel too heavy, which is why here recently I've been gravitating more towards knives that are the size of the Para 3, size and weight of the Para 3, and like the Shark Cub or the Sage 6. I just really like those knives. But anyways, let's go ahead and measure blade stock thickness while I have the calipers out. So blade stock thickness here, probably 105. Oh, we are close. Yeah, 106 thousandths. So definitely on the thinner side. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools. As per usual, my tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. We have a T8 here. T8 for the body screws. T8 for the pocket clip and filler tab screws. It is a crossbar lock. These aren't the friendliest to take apart. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and weigh it. So depending on which variation you get, there's going to be some variance in weight. This should be the heaviest version unless they do this in copper or something, which I don't think they do. Titanium variation weighs 3.3 ounces for roughly the same amount of blade. So the ratios are actually good. A lot more of the weight is going to be in the handle, though, because the blade is so small. So your balance is actually back here. But at nearly what I consider to be ultra lightweight, I don't think it matters. The whole knife just feels like a lightweight knife, right? On this, I'm not depending so much on the balance to make it feel lighter, right? It already just feels that way. Okay, we've done the weight, we've done the blade stock thickness, we've done the hardware check. Let's move into the meat and potatoes. Very straightforward profile. If you are looking for, you want those premium materials, right? You want a nice super steel like S45EN. Yes, S45EN is a super steel. It's not in the same class as some of your crazy ultra weird stuff, right? But it's a good balance. People forget S45EN is one of only a handful of pocket knife steels that were actually originally created for pocket knives. General, all-purpose knives. Most steels have different primary applications, and we choose to put them in pocket knives where they will never, ever see their maximum potential because they are not implemented on the system that they were designed for. A lot of it is like, for example, industrial food prep. You can't use a pocket knife the way that, I think, is it S90V? I love S90V. Love it. And I think some people will get more use out of it than others. But like, you can't use it the way, it's either S110, it might be S110V, those industrial food prep. I can't remember. They all have different primary applications. So most people are not going to be able to use their knives in a way that would imitate that, like original purpose. S45EN was designed for, a knife steel, for like a person to, have on a pocket knife they use for various tasks. It's stainless. It's got pretty good toughness. It's also got pretty good edge retention. And I think most importantly, it's not a pain to touch back up. For somebody who's like venturing into the knife world, like maybe you're like, you ventured in the knife world and you've enjoyed some budget knives. You're ready to get something a little more premium. You're ready for your first titanium pocket knife, right? Why do you want titanium? Well, everybody in the knife world seems to really enjoy it. It seems to be associated with premium knives. And you're not really sure how it's going to benefit you from day to day, but you know that guys like Metal Complex and other knife review channels and just people in the community seem to place titanium in this premium category, and you just want a titanium pocket knife. The benefits of titanium are strength to weight ratio, and also it's not going to rust at all. Downside, unless it's textured and perfectly contoured for the human hand, it can be pretty slippery. Fortunately, the lock-in on this is really, really good, right? You do get the sense of added durability, even if it is mostly in your head. I get it. What I'm saying is I totally get it, right? This is going to be a good knife because it's not, for those of you looking for that, and you're not looking for any pomp or frill or any like enthusiast elements, you don't want to get into this stuff that these fussy weirdos like MC are into. No, I just want a good, straightforward utilitarian pocket knife. It's going to do it, especially if you lean more towards the lightweight, compact side of that. We have a simple, I don't know, it's kind of like an elongated, it's not really a Persian style blade. It's not really a trailing point. It's just like a very, very long clip point, kind of, right? You could call it a drop point. Whatever you want to call it, I think is totally fine. It's very thin up here. It doesn't have an enormous room to drop down to the cutting edge, but it is hollow ground, right? So there's your plunge grind too. Hollow ground, and you can see here, there's a little notch, and I believe that's for the, well, no, I'd be mistaken. I'm actually not sure why that notch is there because this pin does not engage that at all in the open position. In fact, nothing engages it. So I have no idea. Perhaps that's like a micro sharpening joint. It's like right where that starts to widen out in the material. It's very interesting. And there's two little indentions there. And neither of them seem to have anything to do with the closed position stop pin. I didn't notice that until now. But you can see there, we can still see them both. I don't know. Maybe it's like a natural stop for like when you're removing material. That first one anyway. I'm not sure what the second one is. It's a little odd. I don't know that I've ever seen that. I didn't notice it until now. But it doesn't matter. The only time that would matter if that's where the stop pin was engaging. Because then it's like, well, as soon as you remove enough material from the edge over time, then you're removing material that's supposed to stop the blade. So then you run into issues where it is closing further and further and further in until the edge is actually contacting the barrel spacers here, the standoffs. But that's not the case. So I don't know what that is. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. Anyways, we have a very, very thin S45EN blade. It's got a delicate tip, but as far as your casual puncturing and slicing tasks, this is the type of knife you whip out when you need to make a simple cut or when you need to make a few simple cuts, right? It will make short work of the material, assuming you're cutting material that's much softer than the blade. It'll make short work of it. It's nice and slicey. It's nice and thin. I love that we have two different jimping zones. Like if you needed to do some delicate, maybe you're doing something with wood or whatever. I think this will work really well because mainly, not only because of the thinness of the blade, but your index finger choke up position in relationship to where your thumb is on this first jimping zone back here is very natural. It's also really nice out here. I really like seeing the jimping out here. I don't use that a lot, but I feel like that comes in handy for people who do that sort of intricate, delicate work, right? But yeah, the blade is extremely, extremely utilitarian. It's also very straightforward. I mean, this is a profile that we've seen a million times. Kizer just took a lot of what works and put it together all on one knife. The knife is very, very comfortable to hang on to. I can get a full 4-finger grip right here, and I can also, of course, get a full grip choked up, and I don't feel too pressured to keep my finger that close to the edge, right? This is a bit prominent. If your fingers are a little less sausagey than mine, then, this will be a little bit more comfortable, but pretty straightforward. It says Kizer on this side. Then it says Original 2, S45EN. We have some brass-colored thumb studs. I think each version has slightly different studs there. With this being a crossbar lock, it is, of course, a completely ambidextrous lock, so we want a symmetrical pocket clip that can be mounted the same way on the other side, and that is the case there. The pocket clip works perfectly. I have absolutely no complaints with the pocket clip. It's essentially perfect. There's no lanyard thing, but you can attach a lanyard to that hole in the pocket clip if you want to. There's only 2 body screws. I like that, right? You still have to get in there and mess with the clutch lock if you want to take it completely apart, but not bad. It does run on bearings. I don't know if you guys, could have guessed that, but it does run on bearings. No blade play up, down, left, or right. No pivot lash. Smooth and consistent in here. Nice snap into the closed position. It's just a good knife. Straightforward. I mean, thank you if you watched all the way through, but I think you probably could have seen this at the beginning. A lot of people just click on the link, they look at the price tag, and they go, yep. And you're right. Really a full-length review on a product like this is only beneficial to people who are incredibly new. This is a good knife. This is a knife that I can recommend to pretty much everyone. And if this version of this knife is too expensive, which is completely understandable, then I highly recommend the 14C28N version one. Unless you just really, really want these premium materials. I mean, yes, S45N is going to perform better than 14C28N, absolutely. On a knife like this, I think you're going to make better use of it. So if you have the budget for it, then go for it. If you don't, the 14C28N version is great. I recommend them both. This will go in my, it's going to go in my cheap knives I like. I'm not going to review the other one because it's the same thing. I'm putting it in my cheap knives I like playlist because there is a version of this knife that costs. In fact, no, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to make it that confusing. It's going to go in my recommended knives playlist for sure. And with an asterisk here, this is recommendable for pretty much anyone. This is just a straightforward, good knife. Buy with confidence. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.